Welcome to Radio Asia, where we share Asia's hidden stories with the world. Tonight we return to the northern countryside of Vietnam, a land of rice fields, river fog, and ancient spirits who never truly leave. This is the story of An, a man who heard his name whispered in the dark. Not by the living, but by a love that didn't belong to this lifetime. It began on a humid night in Hanoi. The kind of night where the air felt heavy, where even the streetlights looked tired. An had just returned from work, dropped his keys on the table and lay down without turning on the fan. His eyes were barely closed when he heard it, a whisper so soft it seemed to slip through the walls. And he opened his eyes sharply. The room was dark, silent, perfectly still. He sat up, listening. Nothing. Only the faint hum of the neighbor's TV through thin apartment walls. He shook it off, probably exhaustion. But when he lay down again, the whisper returned. Closer this time, almost brushing the back of his neck. And he turned on every light in the apartment. He checked the balcony, the hallway, even the locked bathroom. Nobody. But the window curtains, they were swaying gently, even though the night outside was still. The whispers didn't stop. For 3 nights, the same soft voice called his name. Never angry, never frightening, just wanting something. On the 4th night, An received a call from his mother in Nam Dinh. She reminded him of his father's death anniversary. Maybe it was the timing. Maybe it was the unease in his chest. But An packed a small backpack and took the earliest bus home the next morning. The northern countryside looked exactly as he remembered. Bamboo groves trembling in the wind, buffalo trails cutting across green rice fields, and the long, quiet river running beside the village. Yet something felt different, as if the land itself was holding a breath. When he reached home, his mother looked at him for a long moment.
"You look tired,"
she said.
"Are you sleeping well?"
And hesitated, then shook his head. He didn't want her to worry. But that night, as he lay in his childhood room, the one facing the old river, the whisper returned. And, except this time, it came from outside the window. The next morning, after offering incense at his father's grave, An took a long walk along the village dike. Mist rolled low over the grass. The river moved slow and heavy, like something ancient was sleeping beneath it. At the very end of the dike stood a small, moss-covered shrine. Every child in the village knew it, but few dared to go near after sunset. The air felt colder there, still thick. As An approached, he saw an old man sweeping fallen leaves. He wore a brown shirt faded by sun and time. The old man looked up the moment An stepped onto the stone path.
You came back.
he said. Anne blinked.
I don't think we've met.
The old man gave a slow smile. Not eerie, not kind, just knowing.
Maybe not in this life.
A chill spread across Anne's back. They sat on the stone bench beside the shrine. The wind had died, but the trees kept shaking, as if shivering at something unseen. The old man lit a stick of incense. The smoke rose, twisting strangely against the wind.
32 years ago,
He began.
there was a girl who used to wait here every sunset.
He pointed to the river.
She waited for someone who never came.
And swallowed.
Her lover.
The old man shook his head slowly.
No. Someone she loved. In silence.
He continued.
One stormy night, she crossed the river to save a child who fell. The child lived. She didn't.
And stared at the water, suddenly feeling its cold breath on his skin. Then came the part that made his heart stop.
Before she drowned.
The old man whispered.
The last thing she said was a name.
He turned his eyes toward Anne.
She called the name Anne.
That night, Anne couldn't sleep. He lay awake, listening to the endless murmur of the river beyond the window. Near midnight, the whisper returned. Anne. But this time, it wasn't frightening. It was trembling, lonely. He drifted into sleep, and the dream came. He was standing on the surface of the river, the water still, black, endless. Fog curled around him like fingers. From the mist, a girl approached, barefoot, hair dripping water, face blurred by shadows. She reached out her hand. Her fingers were cold, painfully cold, when they touched his. Her voice shook.
I've waited long enough.
And whispered.
For who?
The girl lifted her face, and though he still couldn't see her features, he felt her smile. Small, sad, like a wound healing too late.
Not for you.
She said.
For the one you used to be.
The fog thickened. Her hand slipped from his.
I called your name?
She whispered.
So I could leave.
Anne woke at dawn, heart pounding. Outside, the sky was pale and trembling with early light. He walked back to the shrine. The old man was already there, waiting with incense in his hand.
You saw her.
The old man said. Not a question. Anne nodded. The old man placed the incense into his palm.
Then send her off. She's been waiting for someone to close the door for her.
Anne stepped before the shrine. He lit the incense. He bowed. And for the first time he whispered,
You can go now. Thank you. for caring, even from so far away.
A soft breeze rose. The incense smoke curled upward and drifted gently toward the river. The old man closed his eyes.
She heard you.
That night, for the first time in months, Anne slept soundly. No whisper, no cold breeze, no dream of the river. Just silence, the kind that feels like a wound finally closed. Days later, before returning to Hanoi, Anne walked past the shrine one last time. The wind was warm, the trees were still. Peace hung in the air like a blessing. And deep inside, Anne knew something. Some connections don't come to stay. They come to be released. This has been Radio Asia, bringing Asia's quiet, hidden stories to the world. Tonight we followed Anne through whispers, river fog, and the last thread of a love carried across lifetimes. If this story touched you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because some stories deserve to be heard before they fade into the wind.